San Diego State says Soccer City is a no-go and is asking the city of San Diego to consider other options. Mayor Kevin Faulconer sets aside more cash to entice San Diego police officers to stay on the job and restores some funding for the arts. More on his May Revise coming up.
It's one of those freaks of nature we see every once in a while where suddenly a toy out of nowhere suddenly takes on a life of its own.
And following in the grand tradition of Rubik's Cube, Cabbage Patch Kids, and Pogs, parents and store owners are scrambling to get their hands on the latest toy craze. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. San Diego State University officials say they will not work with local developers looking to reshape the Qualcomm Stadium site. KPBS reporter Eric Anderson has details.
The school says there will be no partnership with FS Investors. That's the group trying to redevelop the Qualcomm Stadium site. The developers offered a deal that would have provided a home for the Aztecs football team and a new soccer stadium. That stadium is the linchpin of an effort to lure Major League Soccer here. FS Investors also wants to build housing, commercial space, and hotels on the Qualcomm site. San Diego State officials say efforts to negotiate a deal through the San Diego mayor's office failed. The school says it hopes to expand beyond the limits of its 238-acre campus. SDSU officials call the Qualcomm redevelopment a once-in-a-generation chance for the school to expand research, technology, and collaboration. Now, the university is calling on the city to establish a transparent process to elicit proposals to redevelop the site. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer is pulling back on some of his cuts in his budget proposal. Today, he issued his May Revise, a new plan with nearly $15 million more than his original budget. The extra money comes from funds that will be left over from this fiscal year and more property tax revenues than expected.
Some of the new additions to the May Revise include $2.4 million for arts and culture, bringing the total amount to arts to nearly $13 million.
Faulconer is also proposing $150,000 for a study on police recruitment and retention, and another $100,000 for a national search to replace outgoing police chief Shelley Zimmerman. The City Council will review the revised budget on Thursday. The San Diego City Council has approved a special committee devoted to tackling the city's growing homeless problem. KPBS reporter Susan Murphy has more.
The committee will work to strengthen the city's role in finding solutions to the soaring homeless crisis. Plans include analyzing funding sources and working with homeless service providers to bring on more housing units. They'll also implement stronger outreach and prevention programs. The panel will be chaired by Councilman Chris Ward. His district includes downtown and the East Village, which encompasses the largest homeless population in the county. The latest count found nearly 1,300 people sleeping in tents sprawled out on the sidewalks. He says the committee will also review policies regarding street homelessness, from police citations to city sweeps.
By establishing that committee, we will be able to have a more focused effort on all of the policy questions, whether they are decriminalization questions, whether they are police resource questions, whether they are our overall comprehensive strategy. How do we address this as a city? These are the kinds of things that we'll be tackling.
Council members Lori Zapp, Chris Cate, and Georgette Gomez will also serve on the committee. Susan Murphy, KPBS News.
The widening of State Route 76 in North County marks a milestone today. KPBS North County reporter Allison St. John says it's the key east-west artery and a rapidly growing part of San Diego County.
Accidents used to be common on State Route 76. It was a narrow, winding two-lane road that ran next to the San Luis Rey River from Oceanside to Interstate 15. Now, construction is complete on a four-lane highway that connects Interstates 5 and 15, and big trucks rumble by. The highway connects the city of Oceanside and the unincorporated communities like Barnesville, Fallbrook, and Parla. There's a lot of new development in the works around that intersection of 76 and 15. More than 2,000 new homes and a Palomar College campus are already approved, with more in the works. At the opening ceremony, Laurie Berman of Caltrans said the last 10 miles of the 17-mile stretch of State Route 76 cost $367 million. The local half-cent sales tax, the Transnet tax, contributed more than $120 million to the project. The rest came from federal, state, and other local funds. The road runs parallel to a long-planned county river park, which would allow people to walk much of the stretch between Oceanside and 15. State Route 76 continues east to Santa Isabel, passing 4 Native American reservations with casinos, which attract a lot of patrons. However, there are currently no plans to widen the road further east. Allison St. John, KPBS News.
A well-known Mexican journalist was shot to death Monday in the state of Sinaloa. He is at least the 6th journalist to be killed in Mexico in the last 2 months. Javier Valdez worked with the University of San Diego's Transborder Institute. In his book about the drug war was translated by the Institute's Ev Mead. KPBS reporter Jean Guerrero spoke with him earlier today about Valdez.
Can you tell us a little bit about his work, what he covered? I know he'd recently won the International Press Freedom Award. He'd gotten a lot of international attention.
So Javier wrote about how this drug war in Mexico, which is now more than a generation old, affected ordinary people. So he wrote a book about the girlfriends and wives of drug traffickers, from the very bottom levels to the top. He wrote about the orphans of the drug war. He wrote about children in the drug war. He wrote about people who'd been kidnapped or held against their will during the drug war. And finally, in his last book, he wrote about journalists who'd been threatened and killed for writing about the drug war. In other words, it was never about the drug war itself. This is not like, a version of Narcos, the Netflix series. It's not about drug lords who have tigers and Ferraris and fly around in helicopters, or sinister politicians at the highest levels of government in Mexico. It's not about that at all. It was about ordinary people and how they experience this.
And what's your favorite memory of him?
I mean, he was absolutely an eccentric guy. There's no way around it. We'd have him for public presentations and stuff, and he would be really sullen and quiet and not talk. And then when he would talk, he would swear or be a little bit too off color, or would be a little uncomfortable for people. But that's just because he didn't crave the spotlight. I mean, what he was about was being a writer and mentoring other writers. And he did a ton of that. There are dozens of journalists in northwestern Mexico who have been inspired by him. And then lots of others of us who are historians, anthropologists, sociologists, whom he just taught something about how do you get the human side of a story. There's very few people who have that gift.
And his death is indicative of a much larger problem in Mexico. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how perhaps this death stood out in the context?
According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, since 2000, 104 journalists have been killed in Mexico, and 25 have been disappeared. If you add sort of citizen journalists and activists, that number goes up dramatically. And if you add people who've been threatened or intimidated or no longer doing their work, it goes up even higher than that. Journalists have been absolutely under threat. However, I would say, though, that the profile of the journalist who gets killed in Mexico is very different than Javier's profile. A lot of us thought this wouldn't happen to Javier precisely because he had an international reputation, because he had friends all over the world, because he was a national figure in Mexico. Most of the journalists who get targeted are small, provincial journalists who, are totally unprotected, totally vulnerable. That wasn't the case here, and whether that indicates a new kind of violence or that indicates that he had perhaps had some stronger enemies who decided that his national profile was threatening, we don't really know.
How do you think Javier Valdez would want to be remembered?
I think Javier would like to be remembered as somebody who is kind of a thorn in the side of very conventional journalists. Somebody who always was in on a secret, and the secret being that this is a whole lot more complicated than the people in suits on television would like us to believe. Whether they're politicians, whether they're high-profile journalists or commentators, and really point out the moral complexities.
That was Ev Mead of USD's Transborder Institute speaking with KPBS reporter Jean Guerrero. At the state capitol today, lawmakers joined an all-day brainstorming session to come up with ways to increase the number of Latino voters in the state. About 300 people gathered at the annual Latino Policy Summit. They discussed investing in local efforts to encourage Hispanics to vote and to push a bill to provide more translation resources at voting polls. But one lawmaker says Hispanics should be even more focused on taking steps to become citizens first, so then they can get out and vote.
What we need to do is convince all those folks who've been around now for 10 years. They're not going back to the little ranch back in the old country. They're staying here. It's time for them to become U.S. citizens. We can do it. Who better to convince them than the people they love most?
According to the Latino Community Foundation, about 7 million Hispanics are eligible to vote, but only about 4.5 are registered. The medical community may be a step closer to combating the Zika virus. Today, a La Jolla researcher announced the discovery of a molecule to prevent the spread of the virus. Scientists say this discovery could help develop a treatment. The tropical disease is known for causing babies of infected women to be born with smaller heads and life-threatening respiratory failure. The death toll from methamphetamine abuse continues to set records in San Diego County. KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg takes a look at some of the reasons why.
311 San Diegans suffered a meth-related death in 2015. That's the highest number ever recorded in the county. Officials attribute the increasing number of fatalities to a deadly combination. Meth is more potent and cheaper than ever. Dr. Jonathan Lucas is the county's chief deputy medical examiner. He says an increasing number of deaths are among middle-aged people.
If you have heart disease and use methamphetamine, it greatly increases your risk of dying, and that is really why we're seeing a greater number of deaths in people over the age of 40.
Law enforcement officials say most of the meth found in San Diego is produced in Mexican super labs. Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.
防止火灾，保护你和家人的安全。
This new public service announcement was released today by the California Fire Foundation. It's in Mandarin, and it has tips on how to avoid the most common causes of house fires, like never leaving cooking equipment unattended and making sure incense sticks are not too close to anything flammable. The PSA features local Chinese American firefighters and are available in Cantonese and Mandarin. They're part of a statewide program to educate traditionally underserved communities. It's arguably one of the most important historic events that a lot of people don't talk about. In their latest work, The Vietnam War, filmmakers Ken Burns and Lynn Novick set out to ignite the conversation and the healing. Here's a preview.
I think the Vietnam War drove a stake right into the heart of America. Unfortunately, we've never moved really far away from that, and we never recovered.
There was no way we could avoid telling this story. Wars are so extraordinarily revealing, obviously, of the worst of humanity, but as it turns out, also the best of humanity.
There's been a lot done about this subject. Books, documentaries, feature films, novels. I mean, it's not like no one's ever tried. But it remains this kind of unfinished business in American history.
So it's time now. The decades have passed, and it's important now to go back and try to understand it.
The real heroes are the men that died. To see these kids who had the least to gain, and yet their loyalty to each other, their courage under fire, was just phenomenal. And you would ask yourself, how does America produce young men like this?
We wanted to get to know the people, we wanted to get to know the place, we wanted to spend time there. Trying to figure out how to do what we do in Vietnam was really a challenge.
There's no one American side. And then within Vietnam, there's the winning side, there's the losing side. They were our enemy and our ally. There's just so many different perspectives. We tried to bring them all together.
This is without a doubt the most ambitious project that we have ever undertaken. PBS is the only place it could have been done.
I think the country's ready to have the conversation we've never had about the war, which we really need to have.
This film is not an answer, but a set of questions about what happened.
Today, I sat down with Ken Burns to discuss the Vietnam War. He says the docuseries, 10 Years in the Making, is his most challenging project yet. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Can you please just start off by telling us about your latest project, the Vietnam War?
It's about the most important event in the second half of the 20th century for Americans, this incredibly divisive war that has in some ways set the stage for how we are now, and the divisions in our country today, this kind of binary response that I'm right and you're wrong, had their seeds in Vietnam, and yet it's a war we don't talk about. It's a war we lost, and so there's a great deal of pride involved here, but there's also a great deal of pain and sorrow, and people haven't opened up. It's often called the living room war. It really wasn't. The nightly news gave us just a little flavor of what was going on. Every once in a while, a documentary or a big event like the Tet Offensive would open it up. But we didn't. We think we knew that war, and we don't. And what our film is an attempt is to make it real, and this time really bring it into your living room.
And this is years in the making.
We've been working on this for more than 10 years. We thought that maybe if Vietnam was the seeds of a virus that we caught, that maybe by telling a complete story it might permit us to relax, to begin to heal, to have kind of courageous conversations that would allow reconciliation between us to take place. And maybe we could elevate, as we try all the time in PBS, elevate our conversation to a civil discourse and not the kind of, cable television noise and hash and where you always have to make the other person wrong. We set a table. We permitted in this film diverse number of truths to coexist and still be truths, because for that person who was opposed to the war, that was going to leave for Canada or was just saying, look, this is not right, that was a truth for them. But so was the person who, from the moment they were in high school knew, I'm going into the Marines, I'm going to fight against communism, and where we're fighting it is in Vietnam, and maybe they change their minds in the course of the war, maybe they don't. All of those are coexisting along with our enemy and our allies and the folks back home who are suffering losses or are confused about it. And it's as epic a story as we've ever tried to tell.
That period was also very well known for its major anti-war protests. How did those protests compare to demonstrations we're seeing today?
Well, it's very interesting that, when we started this film 10 years ago, if I told you that this film was about a White House obsessed with leaks, that it was about big document drops of classified government information, that it was about mass demonstrations taking place across the country, that it was about asymmetrical warfare, you say, boy, you've abandoned American history, you're talking about the present moment. But these are the stories of Vietnam, and those protests, you begin to see that sometimes bravery doesn't always take place on the battlefield.
In something as well documented as the Vietnam War, there have been movies and several books. How do you take an event like that and tell it in a fresh way?
Well, I think you aggregate all of the strengths of those things. I mean, a lot of the Hollywood movies are fiction, so you have to just say, well, that's a fictionalized version. There was a great series on public broadcasting in the early 80s, but that was at 30,000 feet. How could it not be? They didn't have access to Vietnam. We did. We traveled the country, interviewed lots of people, got access to archives, and that permitted us to have a fresh view of what happened, and then the scholarship has really opened it up. So most people, I think, except for a few scholars, will say, I had no idea this happened. And that'll happen 1,000 times watching it, because it still does to me. I go, wow, we're so lucky we discovered that, we unearthed that, and then we fact-checked for more than a year and a half. I mean, in public broadcasting, facts still matter.
And what do you hope people get after watching this series, The Vietnam War?
We work really hard, not thinking, aha, this is speaking to Afghanistan or Iraq, or this is speaking to the Trump presidency or the Obama presidency. Our job is to spend 10 years trying to tell a good story, and we think we've done that. When it's over, it's no longer my film. It's your film, and you'll have your reactions, and I'll be so surprised that you felt this way about that scene. I hadn't seen that before, or maybe, yes, many of our consultants or the people that we brought in to screen it felt that way as well. The important thing is you want people to feel. You want them to have not that conventional wisdom squash the life out of them. Oh, Vietnam, I know what that was about. Or the wrong sort of superficial knowledge about something. You want to go, I just want you to say, I had no idea. and then form your own opinion, because that's what having a conversation is about. And so I hope it's just a shaking of the head and go, wow, that's a good story.
Ken Burns, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
The Vietnam War is a 10-part, 18-hour documentary directed by Ken Burns and Lynn Novick. It airs on KPBS beginning Sunday, September 17th. You can hear my extended interview with Ken Burns on kpbs.org. With sealed pupping season over, the Children's Pool Beach in La Jolla is open again to the public. During the winter, the beach is off limits to humans, so seals can birth and wean their young. But after May 15th, seals and people are allowed to share the beach. The city puts up a rope that serves as a guide and asks people to take notice and to be careful of marine mammals. The children's pool was deeded to the city in the 1930s as a safe swimming spot for kids, but the seals began moving in during the 90s. It touched off a decades-long fight between animal rights supporters and advocates for beach access. That battle is currently tied up in the court. Well, you might need an umbrella tomorrow. Erin Calandra has tonight's forecast.
We've been stuck in kind of a cooler, cloudy pattern for the last couple of days. We even saw some showers in places. The good news is improvement is on its way. We do see to the north of us right now, there is a system that is bringing lots of cloud coverage and even some rain, even snow to some people to the north of us. That's certainly not going to reach us, so we are going to remain pretty mild for the next couple of days. Looking at the satellite and radar, we don't see much of anything going on across the county. We will have some clouds building throughout the night, and we will still see those in the morning. Very typical. Those will kind of burn out throughout the day, and we will have plenty of sunshine. So tonight, the overnight low is 59 degrees. We will see some showers in places. Not everybody gets wet, but grab an umbrella if you're heading out, just in case you get caught under one of those rain clouds. Oceanside, 54 degrees. Same story for Poway. Ramona, 49. Borrego Springs, 58. Mount Laguna, 41 degrees, and Alpine, 48 degrees. It's going to be a bit windy and cool in the deserts, gusts up to 40 miles per hour. But all of this wet weather, it's going to stay off to our north and east. Taking a look at temperatures for tomorrow, a few degrees cooler than our average, but nothing major, nothing too different from what we're used to. Borrego Springs, lots of sunshine, 83 degrees. Mount Laguna, 56. Poway, 69. San Diego, 66 degrees with just a few clouds. Now, we do see a big dip in the jet stream out west, and that is what's bringing lots of cool air in from Canada. Meanwhile, to the northeast, we're seeing warmer temperatures and very warm and dry temperatures in the deep south. Taking a look at the next couple of days, while we do have a warm-up, Thursday, clouds breaking, 71 degrees. By the end of the week, on Saturday, it's going to be 81 degrees with lots of sunshine. It's going to be dry over the weekend as well, so a great time to get outside. Inland, a bit warmer, 78 degrees. And look at this warm-up. We're at 90 degrees by Saturday. And as we take a look at the mountains, those lows are pretty cool, 40 degrees Wednesday night. But we also see a nice increase in temperatures. Very pleasant this weekend. Temperatures in the low 70s on Saturday. And by Sunday, we're at 76 degrees. Nice and warm with plenty of sunshine. And in the deserts, we start off at 90 on Thursday. By Sunday, we're at 100 degrees. Drink plenty of water in the deserts. For KPBS, I'm Erin Calandra.
Stores can't keep them in stock. Parents are going crazy trying to find them. Mike Householder has more on the latest toy craze.
Which one you like the best?
Caroline McGow is taking the latest toy craze for a spin.
We came in for fidget spinners because she had her final gymnastics meet this weekend, so she got a special treat. She's going to get a special fidget spinner that all her friends have.
$15.89 with tax.
Okay.
And now so does the first grader.
Because I've tried my friends and they're really fun.
The excitement over the fidget spinner has all the hallmarks of a typical fad.
Just calling to let you know that USA flag spinner that you've had on hold.
Parents scrambling to find one and stores unable to keep them in stock.
Everything we order
keeps selling out rather quickly.
But the furor over these 3-inch twirling gadgets is different.
It's one of those freaks of nature we see every once in a while, where suddenly a toy out of nowhere suddenly takes on a life of its own.
Here you go.
Unlike other hot toys, fidget spinners aren't made by a major company, and they haven't been timed for the holiday season or promoted in TV commercials.
We first got a phone call for somebody asking for a fidget spinner, and at the time we didn't know what it was. And then literally 30 minutes later, a second phone call. And when you own a toy store, that's usually a signal that you need to pay attention.
They're more easily found at independent stores like Funky Monkey Toys near Detroit, at newsstands or at 7-Elevens.
We have like all kind of customer, like parents, kids, grandma, grandpa. They're coming, to buying for their grandkids and everything.
Versions of the fidget spinner have actually been around for years, mostly used by kids with autism or attention disorders to help them concentrate. But they mysteriously exploded in popularity this spring. New York attorney Kim Jussick plays with one during the daily commute.
I'm naturally kind of fidgety, and it does what it's designed for. It gives me something to do with my hands while I'm sitting kind of idle.
While spinner mania will eventually die down, store owners aren't complaining about the fad that has spun out of control. Mike Householder, Associated Press, Oxford, Michigan.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.